There's a part of you refuse to admit exists and is destroying your life. It's the reason you mess up your relationships. It's why you get mad when no one's looking. And it's the thing behind your fake smile. Carl Jung calls it the shadow. See, in the next few minutes, I will show you what your shadow is. I will explain to you how it controls you and how facing it could unlock surprising powers or leave you stuck in the dark. But first things first, who is Carl Jung? Carl Jung was a smart doctor from Switzerland. He studied the human mind. At first, he worked with another famous doctor called Sigmund Freud. He's probably referred to as the father of modern psychology. You probably heard of him before. You see, but later, Jung had his own ideas and went his own way. You can say he went rogue. One of his biggest ideas was something called the shadow. So, what is the shadow? It's a side of you that you try to hide, the part you pretend isn't there. It's where all your anger lies, your jealousy, your greed, your selfishness, even your secret wish to be the boss or to break the rules. We all have these things, but we push them down, deep down inside of us. So, where do they all go? They live in your unconscious mind. That means you don't think about them on purpose, but they still affect the way you act. As a matter of fact, more than you think. Carl Jung said something very powerful about this. He said, everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is shown in a person's life, the darker and heavier it gets. In other words, if you keep hiding your dark feelings, they don't disappear. They just grow stronger in the secret. Now, let's explore why you're holding your dark self back, and the reasons will surprise you. So, why do we all hide this dark side of ourselves? Where did the shadow even come from in the first place? Well, it's because we have been trained to. Not by bad people, but by people trying to keep us safe, polite, and accepted. See, our parents, our teachers, our churches, the world around us. Since we were kids, people taught us that there were good feelings and bad feelings. If you smiled and played nice, you got the pat on the head. If you got angry, you were told to stop. If you wanted attention, you were called selfish. If you spoke your mind too much, people said, good kids don't talk like that. So, what did we do? We pushed those feelings deep down. We locked them away like junk in an old closet. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Those feelings didn't disappear. They just went underground. Let's take some examples. Maybe as a kid you got upset when someone was unfair to you. You wanted to shout, to fight back. But someone told you, don't get angry, it's not polite. So, you learned to hide your anger. But it didn't die. You turned it into quiet, buried rage. And that buried anger, it leaks out later in small, sneaky ways. Like being cold to a friend when you don't even notice. Or hiding grudges you don't want to admit. Or exploding over little things for no clear reason. Here's another one. Maybe you were told, nice people don't want to be in charge. But deep down, you wanted to lead. You wanted to be the boss sometimes, to win, to be noticed. But you felt guilty about it, so you buried it. Now, as an adult, you might secretly crave control or get jealous of people who shine too brightly. You might even put yourself down on purpose so no one else does it first. That, my friend, is your shadow at work. It's not just in you, it's in all of us. And here's the thing. That energy you push down never dies, it just hides. Remember, energy can never be destroyed but converted from one form to another. It just hides. It leaks out in weird ways, like passive aggression. That's when you act nice, but say something a little mean underneath. Also, self-sabotage. That's when you ruin your own chances because deep down, you don't feel like you deserve something good. And one of the biggest ones, projection. That's when you blame other people for the same things you secretly feel. Like calling someone arrogant when deep down you wish you could be that confident too. Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever judged someone for showing off? But part of you kind of admired it or wish you had the guts to do it too. That's your shadow showing its face. And guess what? The more you pretend it's not there, the more control it has over you. But don't worry, you're not broken, you're just human. And in the next part of this video, I'm going to be showing you what happens when you leave your shadow locked away too long. It can start to control your life in ways you don't even realize. And I'll show you how you can stop it. Just stick around till the end of this video. It's about to get really interesting. Okay, so what happens when you keep ignoring your shadow? What happens when you pretend those dark hidden parts of you don't exist? Well, it doesn't go away like we have already stated. It starts to cause problems, big ones, serious problems. Let's talk about a few of them. First, you lose self-awareness. That means you don't really know why you act the way you do. You might think you're being kind or calm, but deep down, your shadow is pulling strings behind the scenes. And when you don't understand yourself, life feels confusing. You might wonder, why did I say that? Why did I ruin that chance? Or why am I so angry when I don't want to be? That's your shadow at work, guys. Next, you attract toxic relationships. This is a weird one, but it's very real. When you hide parts of yourself, you often get close to people who act out the feelings you want to admire you have. For example, if you secretly love attention but feel guilty about it, you might hang out with people who brag all the time, and it drives you crazy, but you still stay around. Why? Because your shadow feels seen. Or if you pretend you are never angry, you might date someone who gets angry for you, and then your relationship turns messy and painful. Another big consequence is emotional outbursts. Have you ever surprised yourself by how mad, jealous, or upset you got over something small, like someone caught in line and suddenly you feel like shouting? Or let's say a friend cancels plan and you exploded, even though it wasn't a big deal. That's not just being dramatic, that's years of pushed down feelings bursting out in one wrong time. And those outbursts can hurt people you love and make you feel like you don't even know who you are anymore. And also, there's the mental health. Ignoring your shadow can lead to things like anxiety, feeling nervous and tense for no clear reason, depression, feeling sad, heavy, or empty because part of you feels trapped. And sometimes people turn to unhealthy habits just to escape that, like overeating, overworking, or sometimes too much scrolling on your phone or social media just to avoid their thought. Now, let's look at a real-life example. We have seen a story play out over and over again. A famous person, maybe a politician, a pastor, or a celebrity, acts like a saint in public. They give speeches about being good, honest, and pure. They tell other people how to live, but secretly, they are doing the exact things they say are wrong. They hide it for years, but one day, it all comes out. Their life falls apart, people get hurt, and the world says, wow, I never saw that coming. But the truth is, he didn't fail because he was evil. He failed because he refused to face his shadow. And here's the thing, you don't have to be famous for this to happen to you. We all have a shadow, and if you keep ignoring it, it will shape your life without you even realizing it. But here's the good news. In the next part of this video, I will show you how to find your shadow, how to notice it when it sneaks out, and how to finally take power back. Trust me, this part might surprise you, but stay with me, we are just getting started. So now you might be wondering, okay, but how do I know what is in my shadow? Good question. The truth is, your shadow leaves little clues everywhere if you know where to look. And don't worry, you don't need a fancy degree or a crystal ball to spot it. I will show you how. Let's start with some simple questions you can ask yourself right now. First one, who triggers you and why? A trigger is when someone annoys you, upsets you, or make you feel uncomfortable, even if you can't explain why. It's like a button they press without even touching you. Maybe it's the loud kid in class who talks too much, or the super confident person who seems to show off all the time, or that one friend who always gets what they want. When you feel extra anger or bothered by someone, it might be because they are showing you a part of yourself you're hiding, your shadow. So next time someone triggers you, ask yourself, why does this bother me so much? And be honest with the answer. Second question, what trait do you secretly envy in other people? We all admire certain people, but sometimes we admire things we feel like we are not allowed to want. Maybe you secretly wish you could be bold like the class clown, or rich like the movie star, or brave like the people who speak up for themselves. If you envy someone's confidence, power, or freedom, it's possible that deep down, a part of you crave those things too, but you have been told not to, and so it went into your shadow. Third question, what emotions do you pretend you never feel? This actually is a tough one. We all like to think we are good people, but good people still feel jealousy, still feel anger, still feel fear, still feel selfish sometimes. If you always say things like, I am never jealous, I never get mad, I don't care about winning, there's a good chance those feelings are sitting right in your shadow, just hiding, waiting for the right moment to pop up. And here's another way to spot your shadow, your dreams. Your shadow loves to show up when you're sleeping. Have you ever had a nightmare about a scary monster, or a dangerous person chasing you, or something dark hiding in a room you're afraid to enter? That's not just your imagination. It could be your shadow. In dreams, it shows up as monsters, villains, creepy strangers, or something you fear or avoid in real life. Your mind is trying to get your attention. And here's a little challenge for you right now. Pause for a second and think. What's one thing about yourself you will never admit to anyone? Maybe it's a thought you had, a feeling you pretended wasn't real, or a wish you told yourself you didn't care about. Hope you get the idea. That's your shadow voice. It's trying to be heard. And here's a wild part. When you start noticing these little signs, you begin to understand yourself in ways most people never do. And guess what? In the next part of this video, I'm going to show you what happens when you finally face your shadow one-on-one. When you stop running away from it and instead learn how to use it, it can unlock a kind of superpower you never knew you had. But only if you are brave enough to look into the abyss. So stick around, you don't want to miss this part. So now you know what the shadow is, you know how it hides, and you know how to spot it. But here's the most important part of this whole video. What do you do about it? How do you stop your shadow from running your life in secret? Well, Carl Jung believes something very wise. He said, you can't get rid of your shadow. And honestly, you shouldn't even try. Why? Because it's part of you. It holds your hidden feelings. It's your secret desires and your untapped power. And here's the thing. You can make peace with it. You can learn to understand it, to listen to it, to use its energy in a healthy way. This is called integrating your shadow. It means bringing those hidden parts of you into the light. Not to let them take over, but so you can be in control. When you face your shadow, three powerful things start to happen. First, you reclaim your lost energy. All those feelings you have been pushing down for years, they take up space. They drain your energy without even you realizing it. When you admit you are sometimes jealous, or that you secretly want more attention, or that you get angry too, you stop wasting energy pretending, and you start using that energy for things that can actually help you, like hobbies, your goal, your friendship, your relationships, and your peace of mind. Second, you gain self-mastery. That means you become the boss of your own emotions, not in a robot with no feelings way, but in a smart, powerful way. You know what triggers you. You know when your shadow is trying to sneak out, and you can decide how to respond. So instead of exploding or blaming others or destroying your chances, you can stay calm and make smart choices. And thirdly, you stop being controlled by unconscious desire. Remember how your shadow makes you envy people or act in weird ways you don't fully understand? When you face your shadow, these unconscious desires lose their grip on you. You stop chasing things you don't even want, and you stop running from things you are afraid to admit. Carl Jung said something amazing about this. He said, once you make your unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. In simple words, if you don't face the hidden part of yourself, it will quietly control your life, and you just think it's bad luck or destiny, but it's not. It's your shadow pulling the strings, and when you finally look it in the eye, you stop being the puppet. You start becoming the author of your own story. And guess what? As we approach the next part of this video, I'm going to show you how you can actually start doing this step-by-step guide. How to begin integrating your shadow in small, simple ways you can try today, even right now. And don't worry, it's not scary, it's real and very practical. It might be the most important thing you ever do for yourself, so stick with me. Alright, I get it, the shadow is real, but what do I do now? How do you actually start dealing with all of this? The good news is, you don't need magic spells or a mountaintop guru. You just need a little honesty and a little bravery, and it all starts small. Let me show you a few ways to begin. First, try journaling about your triggers and fears. Grab a notebook or even your phone. When someone makes you upset, or you feel jealous, or you get scared, write it down. It might be at the end of the day, but just write it down. Not to judge yourself or anything, but to notice patterns. Ask yourself, why did that bother me so much? What was I really feeling? You'll be surprised how much clearer your mind feels when you stop hiding those thoughts. And remember, you don't have to show anyone, it's just you, so don't worry about this. Secondly, accept that you are capable of both good and bad, and that's okay. Being human means sometimes you feel selfish, sometimes you get mad, sometimes you think bad things you will never say out loud. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, it means you are a person. Carl Jung believed the healthiest people aren't the ones who pretend to be perfect. They are the ones who know their dark side exists and choose not to let it take over. Third, you can talk to someone, a good therapist, a wise friend, or even spend time thinking quietly by yourself. This is called introspection. It's when you sit with your thoughts and ask yourself. A lot of people don't do this. I do this a lot. Ask yourself questions like, what have I been running from? What part of me am I afraid to admit is real? You'll be surprised the answers that starts to show up. Fourth, start seeing yourself as a whole person. Not perfect, not a saint, not a monster either. You are both. You have kindness and anger, love and jealousy, bravery and fear. And trust me, that's completely normal. In fact, the people who admit this are usually stronger than the ones who pretend to be flawless, because they are honest and because their shadow isn't sneaking around controlling them in secret. Now, here's a very important warning for you, and I want you to really hear this part. This isn't about becoming a monster. It's not about saying, well, I have dark side, so I can do whatever I want. No. It's about stopping the monster from controlling you. It's about making sure those buried feelings don't hurt you or the people you care about. It's about learning how to use your strength wisely and keeping your shadow in check always, like a loyal guard dog, not a wild animal. And finally, remember this, it is a journey. You don't have to fix everything in your whole life overnight or know all the answers right now. It's about starting small, noticing feelings, owning them, and taking back the steering wheel of your life. Let's quickly go over what we have just talked about today. You have a shadow. I have one too. We all do. It's a hidden side of you. The one you pretend isn't there. And it controls you more than you even realize. It shapes your feelings, it affects your choices, and it can quietly ruin parts of your life. But here's the good news. You don't have to be afraid of it. When you face the shadow, you get stronger, you get wiser, and you can take back control of your story. So face it, or it will run your life in the dark. It's that simple. Now, before you go, I want to hear from you. What's one trait you have been afraid to admit about yourself? Is it anger, jealousy, wanting attention, or something else? Drop it in the comment section below and let's continue the conversation there. If you like this video, please go ahead again, hit the subscribe button, because in the next video, we'll be diving into the dark psychology of Kanye West. Yep, it's going to be wild. And it connects perfectly with everything we've learned today. You don't want to miss that one out. See you there.